Go.
Welcome back to another episode of Compelled, a podcast dedicated to talking about the culture of sexual assault and abuse, where we attempt to bring out the bigger issues and what we as a society can do about it. I am Joe Spiegel.
Mike Sutherland.
All right. Email me that, please, so I can practice. All right. Anyway, this week we're going to talk about a man, a manly man, a man who's manly enough to stand up and say that someone did something extremely inappropriate to him, and he wasn't ashamed enough to not say anything about it. Which, I mean, bravo to Mr. Terry Crews, because I wonder how many guys that look like him that are that as big and ripped might get harassed in a ways, you know, and don't do anything about it because you don't want to look like a pussy, right? You know, like, oh, what are you, a big pussy? You can't handle people, you know, flirting with you or something. You know, why don't you just kick his ass and move on? Well, instead, he didn't kick the guy's ass, and instead he decided to, you know, get an attorney and talk about it. So let's get into it.
All right, according to Deadline. So Terry Crews filed a suit against Adam Venett, who was his agent. Let's just start with this one because this is even more interesting. WME has filed a response to the 9-count lawsuit filed in December by its former client, Terry Crews. The actor sued the agency and its former head of its motion picture group, Adam Venett, after claiming the agent sexually assaulted him at a red carpet event in 2016, saying in part, the incident was the first time Venett has acted in such a manner, and that the agency knew it. The filing today in Los Angeles Superior Court argues that WME's response to Crews' claims were both swift and serious, contrary to Crews' assertion that WME ratified Venett's conduct, and after it says Crews accepted Venett's apology the day after the incident occurred. Mr. Crews accepted the apology and then told the only 2 WME employees to whom he had spoken about the incident that everything was okay. Well, just because he said that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It was the last mention Crews made of the incident to anyone at WME for nearly 18 months, during which time he remained a WME client. Crews revealed the incident publicly on Twitter in October of 2017, filed a police report with the LAPD Hollywood Division in early November. He dropped WME as his agency the next day. He's now rep by another agency. Venett received a 30-day suspension from WME after an investigation and was stripped of his departmental head title, but he returned to work in November. Oh, wow. Ooh. In contrast to Crews' versions of the events, WME said that the response of WME's senior leadership upon learning that Mr. Crews had not let it go and had accused one of its agents of the conduct alleged here was both swift and serious. To the contrary, those acts demonstrate that WME decisively addressed and punished the conduct Mr. Crews alleges that Mr. Venett engaged in, bar any assertion that WME ratified the conduct and thereby absolved WME of liability. The filing states, for these reasons and until the court hears all of the evidence, it should not accept Mr. Crews' allegations against WME. Look, that's such bullshit. That's fucking retarded lawyer speak.
And we need to, let's talk about the incident, man.
Let me finish.
Never finished.
It's dumb lawyer speak for we're not culpable anymore because he said that he accepted, you know, Venett's apology and that, you know, all not all was forgiven, but it's not that big of a deal type of thing.
So when Harvey Weinstein lightly apologized to Uma Thurman, and she probably said okay at the time, does that make it okay that he did what he did to her? Right,
exactly. It was a lot. Let's see. That's right. Okay. That everything was okay, but it's not okay. Just because Crews says, "Hey, I accept the apology and everything's okay," and then the next day, he drops him. I mean, right here, he filed a police report in November, and then he dropped WME as his agency the next day. So, let's see, when did this happen?
Hey, I know I grabbed your junk and everything, but we're cool, right?
Yeah, so this incident happens in 2016, and then he has to deal with this, you know, for an entire year, and who knows what else is going on, and he's probably made mention of it several times, and WME's like, oh, we'll take care of it, okay? Mm-hmm. So as they say here, in contrast to Crews' versions of events, WME said that that the response of WME's senior leadership upon learning that Mr. Cruz had not let it go and accused one of its agents of the conduct alleged here was both swift and serious.
Let it go?
When did they know? So let's just assume they didn't know for a year. Mm-hmm. Okay? Just to be fair. And then what they did was they gave Vennet a 30-day suspension and stripped him of his departmental head title, but he returned to work on November 27th. If he's done it once, he's done it multiple times. Why didn't they fire him? Especially Terry Crews is probably one of their bigger clients.
I can give you the simple answer. He probably makes them a lot of money.
Okay.
That's a simple answer. I mean, how was Harvey Weinstein able to do what
But
he did?
he's just an agent.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is money talks. And money is always what people look at the most.
But you can fire an agent, have an agent replaced with a better agent, and that agent would get more clients, especially one that's been tainted.
Possibly, but if
Halle Berry,
the dude had fucking friends, man. What if he had friends that worked there that made excuses for him,
Jodie Comer,
and they're all making money? You know, it's what it's always about, man.
Again, I don't think you seem to understand. He's just an agent.
I don't think you understand. It's all about who you know and who you blow.
I understand that, but when it comes down to something as serious as this, it doesn't matter who you know and who you blow. You're tainted.
Yeah, and these fuckers stick up for each other, just like.
But his reputation has already been hammered. It doesn't matter if nobody. It's the Harvey Weinstein thing all over again, except Harvey Weinstein's gone from Weinstein Entertainment, the Weinstein Company.
Uh-huh.
This guy's not gone. This guy still works for WME.
That means that he is connected with some other people.
But it doesn't matter. Harvey Weinstein is connected to everybody. He was fired from the Weinstein Company. That's what I'm trying to get at, Joe.
Okay, just bear with me here. You know, like the guy that hung himself from Glee, how he had all that stuff on his computer, which means he was connected to other people that profit from that stuff, right? From pornography. Okay?
And not in any real sense,
now,
but yeah.
Okay, or like Bryan Singer, all the people he's connected with, right? Well, this same fucking guy could be connected with other people that do similar shit as well, and they didn't fire him because maybe he knows some shit about them or something. You don't know. It's all speculation, of course, but... I mean, you try to understand this shit if you can.
I understand it 100%.
I'm saying that in general.
But what I'm trying to say is it doesn't fucking matter who he's connected with. They fired Harvey Weinstein. They fired a whole bunch of other people that have done this.
Yes.
They didn't fire this guy. Connections or not, big deal, whoopee shit.
You can say that sitting here, but you're not there at that fucking company. You don't know what's going on.
It doesn't matter whether I know what's going on or not. The right thing to do is to fire him. If you can fire one of the most powerful people in Hollywood from the board of directors, from the company itself that has his name on it, this fucking guy is nothing.
Look.
This guy is less than nothing because nobody knew about this guy until Terry Crews brought him up.
You're on this right and wrong thing. I'm not talking about right or wrong. Of course, everything this guy has done and represents is wrong. That's not in dispute here. What I'm saying is there's some kind of reason why he hasn't been let go. And I would assume it's because of people that he's connected with, people he knows, people he's made money for, and people he probably knows a lot of their secrets, their dirty secrets. So maybe they kept his ass on so he wouldn't let out any other shit about other people.
Because that makes a big deal now?
For some people.
Rose McGowan, Uma Thurman, Halle Berry, the list goes on and on about secrets in Hollywood that are coming out. Big fucking whoop. So they let this guy go who's a pissant.
Okay, then.
In terms of anything.
Then what is your theory on why they haven't let this guy go?
I don't know.
Well, I
don't have a theory.
I'm speculating.
And that's why I'm not speculating because I don't know.
Look, all this shit's crazy, right? And people try to understand it. People try to understand serial killers and all this other kind of shit, okay? It doesn't make sense sometimes. Well, it doesn't make sense, but I can see ways that it could make sense in other people's minds, their own self-justifications for shit. And their own self-justification could be what I mentioned already.
I think it just is as simple as they don't want to let him go because they feel that he didn't do anything wrong. When it's the exact opposite.
It's possible, but I mean, hasn't the guy been accused of other things from other people?
I don't know. Vennet. Let's find out, shall we?
Why is it every time they show Steven Seagal, he's got orange fucking glasses on?
And his fake hair and beard?
Yeah, and his 5 minutes for men fucking dyed facial hair. I'm only 43.
Yeah. I'm not 60. I don't. It doesn't say that he has or hasn't. Well, let's see. Adam Bennett. I don't think Adam Bennett has done anything other than what. It's not reported. It's show it says. Yeah. Perfect. This is somebody from Monique Judge. Or something from Monique Judge. Because no one cares about black people, not even when they say they've been sexually assaulted. WME exec Adam Bennett was allowed to return to work on Monday at the Beverly Hills Entertainment Agency after serving a 1-month suspension related to allegations of sexual assault.
What? How? What kind of? I can't even think of the right word. The gall that you could have to be able to walk up to someone like Terry Crews, who could kill you with probably his left foot.
Great. Anyways,
someone that and to grab him like that, to sexually assault him that way in a room full of people,
because that guy has quote unquote power.
It just amazing the arrogance that some people have, that they think, oh, it's okay for me to do this because I have some stature. You know, that guy's lucky that Terry Crews didn't freaking create like another mouth hole for him.
Okay, that's like the fourth time you said that. We get it.
What's your problem? What the fuck problem do you have right now?
You're just repeating yourself. It doesn't make any sense. We understand. Terry Crews is a powerful man, but this guy, you don't just assault somebody because of whatever. You have to rein yourself in. You can't just fucking punch somebody in the face because of whatever. That leads to worse things. Just because somebody touches you inappropriately, so you punch him in the face and fucking kill him, or render him useless, or knock him out, or he falls on someone that creates a chain reaction. Somebody gets cut really bad. It's a whole thing that, you know, you just can't do something like that because
it's easy to say that. What I'm trying to get at here, man, is the guy didn't even worry about the consequences of doing that at all. He just fucking did it.
Yeah,
that's what's amazing to me. Is that Terry Crews could have lost his shit. He didn't lose his shit, and he took the high road. You know, more power to him. But how did the guy know that Terry Crews was going to be able to take the high road? I don't even think he gave a shit one way or another. He just was being himself. Bennett was being himself. A pervert.
Yeah. And that's the problem. I mean, you have to take the high road. You like the dude comes up and does whatever, and you don't even know what the fuck to do. You're just standing there. You're just like, did that just happen?
That's shocking. That's one of those times where you don't even know what to do when it happens to you, and then later on you have that hindsight, right? Like, what should I have done?
And there's nothing you can do because you're in a room full of people that either witnessed it, or knows about what he's done,
or laughed it off because they didn't think it was a big deal,
or that, or. And there's nothing you can do anyways, because if you do anything about it, you get sued.
Yeah. Oh, that's just the way it is, man. It's okay. He's just playing. He's just playing. He does that with everybody. It's okay.
Yeah, he puts his finger in everybody's ass.
Oh, God.
Like, really?
Oh, God, no. Why am I thinking about chocolate pretzels right now?
I don't know. Mr. Bennett acted like a rabid dog sticking his tongue in and out of his mouth provocatively, Mr. Crews says in the sexual assault.
Ugh.
Mr. Crews then instructed actor Adam Sandler, one of Bennett's client, to intervene. Adam, come get your boy. He's grabbing my nuts. That's interesting. Let's read this from TMZ. This happened in December. Let's see. Court documents say, I just did that. All I want to do is read what's going on. The whole thing with Harvey Weinstein is, all I want to do is just read this stuff. The whole thing with Harvey Weinstein is giving me PTSD, the actor tweeted. Why? Because this kind of thing happened to me. My wife and I were at a Hollywood function. I'm done with the Washington Times, man. I am done with this shit. A high-level Hollywood executive came over to me and groped me, jumping back. I said, what are you doing? My wife saw everything, and we looked at him like he was crazy. He just grinned like a jerk. Mr. Bennett was briefly put on probation. Great. I mean, they don't even... They're so brazen about it that Hollywood doesn't even care.
No, they just want everyone to look the other way while they keep cashing their checks.
Like, I'll just walk right up to Terry Crews and grab his nuts.
I think that's also why there's so many people that you hear that are complaining about, oh, this has gone overboard, this whole Me Too movement and everything. It's gone, it's created this monster that's, But wait, this monster was created because people kept looking the other way.
Yeah.
for a long, long time, forever.
And on top of that, I mean, people are, and it's mostly males that are saying this.
Yeah.
You know, well, what happens if we go out on a date with a woman? Now, you know, bad things could happen. We could get, you know, we could get arrested for sexual assault. Well, you know what? If you conduct yourself like a person, like a human being, and treat them like human beings, probably ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, look, in my opinion, the ones that are worried about this shit are the ones that were already fucking up in the first place. They're the ones that kept going over the line. And they're worried about it now because now they can't. Now there's a chance that if they go over the line, they can get caught and called out on it.
Yeah, I mean, and Alec Baldwin keeps opening his mouth ever since the sexual harassment allegations. You know, he just needs to shut up.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not changing a goddamn thing about the way I approach women. I approach women with respect. I approach anybody else. You know, treat everyone the same goddamn way with respect. It's not hard. It's not difficult. You know, don't treat people like they're just a steak, a big juicy steak on the grill. You know, you don't look at them like a freaking weirdo.
Yeah,
you don't say things to make them uncomfortable. It's not difficult. If it's difficult for you, you need to go get therapy.
No, I find that wrong. What's wrong with making people uncomfortable?
No, if it's difficult for you to keep your mouth closed instead of saying inappropriate things to the opposite sex or to the sex that you're attracted to, then you've got a problem. If it's difficult for you to control yourself in public, you've got a fucking problem. Okay? I'm sorry. Oh, so if nice tits pops in your head, it's okay to say that to women in public? No, it's not. Now, if you're
depends on the woman.
Sure. If you're in a certain place, you're in a strip club or things like that, and it's sure. But I'm talking about just regular in public. You know, if I do Lyft drives all the time, man, and I give rides to attractive women all the time, and I talk to them the same way I talk to anybody else.
Well, that's because you're a human being. And you're right.
They've told me
I'm playing fucking devil's advocate.
I know. No, and I've heard some of their stories about how some guys are kind of creepy, like Lyft drivers Lyft and Uber drivers that they keep asking personal questions about them, like way too personal or things like that. It just
like, are you wearing panties?
I don't think it's gotten that far, but
probably has.
But yeah, it's
hey.
But yeah, sometimes when I've heard some of the things, it's like, God, why? I hate making people feel uncomfortable. I really do. And if anyone ever tells me that I'm making them feel uncomfortable, I will make sure I go out of my way to make sure that they don't feel uncomfortable anymore, because that bugs the shit out of me.
No, I agree. And sexualizing every incident and this and that and the other thing. Look, there's a time and a place for things to happen. And once you get more comfortable, once the people around each other are more comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
Is that right? Friends and whatnot, friends, lovers, whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, then you can start doing whatever it is. But to think that you just have a green card, a pass, like a go, a do not pass go, or pass go, collect your $200 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once you're given the green light to do whatever that you think, you've been given this quote unquote green light, and that you're free to do whatever the fuck you want to do. Well, that's wrong. You can't. Oh well, money and power. There's a saying: money is the root of all evil. It's not money; it's people.
Yeah,
money is just an object. People are the root of all evil.
Yeah, all money does is bring out more of your true personality.
Correct.
Because the more money you have, the less inhibited you feel. That's why Howard Hughes was so fucking crazy, because with all that money, he was allowed to be as crazy as he really was.
I don't think that was why he was crazy. But
just throwing that out there.
Already battling Terry Crews in courts over the Brooklyn Nine-Nine star sexual assault allegations, Adam Venn is now facing a probe by the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office over the alleged 2016 incident. A case was presented to our office on February 6th by the Los Angeles Police Department involving Adam Venn and is under review. LA County District Attorney spokesman Ricardo Santiago told Deadline. Crews was not officially identified, but the actor who was among the silence breakers that made up Times Person of the Year is the other party in the matter. No further information of the specifics into what happened between the two. This is former head of, but let's face it, he was stripped of his title, quote unquote. A law enforcement source tells us that the dossier the department compiled and sent to DA Jackie Lacey's office was thorough. After the review process is complete, the DA's office and the special task force, Lacey announced in November, after the review process is completed by.
Yeah.
Vennett's case could head towards prosecution, get tossed, or be heaved over to City Attorney Mike Fewer for misdemeanor charges and prison time. WME had no response to requests from Deadline on this latest turn in the dispute.
You know, you could be right about WME, like just not thinking it was a big deal, not caring about it at all. And just, I mean, like what is it? Like people that made excuses for Kevin Spacey and other people, like, it's like, oh, he does it all the time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I if you want to look deeper into it and, he has this and this and this and this on people, generally that's not how it goes. Generally it's, well, he's a nice guy. He would never do something like that.
Yeah, like the next door neighbor serial killer thing.
Yeah, let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And then you're like, benefit of the doubt, he literally just did this.
Yeah, he admitted to it by apologizing for it.
Yeah, and Adam Sandler, he's Adam Sandler's whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So after going public last October, Cruz, with what he later termed Vennett's sexual predatory behavior, Cruz sat down with LAPD Hollywood Division in November to file a sexual assault report. So I don't know what took over a year to get to this point, but I'm assuming that Cruz, between him working and whatever else he's doing, there's, with his schedule, with his demeanor, maybe he tried to let it go, and it just didn't happen. And because people that after a year finally do that, like he tried to let it go, but like somebody was pressuring him, so he just had enough. Yeah, like, okay, if you don't knock it off, I'm going to go to the police, type of thing. Yeah, and that's what happened.
I mean, it could be, he keeps seeing this guy not getting in trouble and going off, and still he's at the parties that he's going to and stuff like that, and it's like no one gave a shit that this happened to him.
Yeah, 9 claims. Cruz filed a 9-claim sexual assault and sexual battery complaint against Vennett and WME, citing a long history of bizarre behavior on the part of Vennett, claiming that the agency knew about the alleged misconduct and covered it up. Cruz and his lawyers asserted that a message needs to be sent to those in power who abuse those over whom they can't exert influence and control that abuse, and sexual predatory behavior will not be tolerated, which is absolutely true. Yeah. At the end of January, WME responded with an attempt to get the whole thing, or at least their inclusion in it, tossed out of court. To the contrary, those acts demonstrate that WME decisively addressed and punished the conduct Mr. Cruz alleges that Mr. Vennett engaged in, bar any assertion that WME ratified the conduct and thereby absolve WME of liability. They're just trying to walk away from it and basically they're hanging Vennett out to dry. Yeah. The LA Superior Court finally noted that the swift and serious consequences the agency says it took against Vennett in the investigation it made into its claims for reasons and until the court, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well,
too little, too late.
Yeah, when it comes right down to it, this guy has had a history. Here it is, Alan Reich. I have known Adam Vennett for 30 years and support him as a person, father, and biz associate. I don't justify what he allegedly did to Cruz, but it seems to be an overboard attempt to make an unfortunate incident into a crime. If counseling is needed, so be it. But from where I see it, not a crime. No, you're a jerk off. You're a jerk off just because you've known Adam Vennett for 30 years and you support him as a person and a father.
Yeah, and I think also it's the guy thing, right? It's the like how it's not a big deal if a 15-year-old boy has sex with his teacher, right? Or things like that. You're like, oh, it's all these little justifications. Oh, you're a guy. It's okay. Like if a gay dude grabs your junk, right? It's okay. It's not a big deal, right? Just brush it off or whatever. It's, what's your problem, right? Just a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah. See, people like to comment on this stuff almost immediately, like they knew what was going on. I feel the need to comment on this just to say this whole situation is ridiculous and Terry Crews is not a sexual assault survivor. Well, how do you know that this was not the first time?
Yeah, he's got nine incidents or whatever. He has multiple incidents.
Yeah,
right?
he has multiple. There have been multiple times where his behavior has been wrong.
Yeah.
So it's not just Terry Crews; it's other people that he's done this to that haven't spoken up yet. Terry Crews is just one of them.
And look, and I'm not trying to take away from all the women that are brave enough to finally stand up and say what's happened to them, but I am saying, since we're talking about Terry Crews tonight, is that for a man, especially a man as masculine, as seen as masculine as Terry Crews is seen, for him to be able to say that this happened to him and that he feels it was wrong, that's big of him. That's very big of him, because I think most guys would be ashamed and they just wouldn't even acknowledge it at all. You know?
Yeah, these people just, cut the nonsense, will you? You're a big boy.
Yeah, it's the male pride thing,
when
right?
Some agent grabs your package at an event, you grab his right back and squeeze until he apologizes. You don't do that.
Yeah.
Especially in a professional environment where people can see who knows who touched who first.
Yeah. And look.
Then Terry Crews will be on the other side of this.
Don't get me wrong. If Terry Crews had laid him out when that happened, I would have totally understood it. I would have.
Right, but he didn't.
But he didn't, because he remained professional.
And he would have been arrested.
Yeah, and look,
and then he would have been on the other side of this.
I know. And I'm just saying, I would have understood if he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, who doesn't? I'm sorry, but I find the Crews case insulting to women who've been abused and harassed. It's not the same. In fact, it trivializes the Me Too movement. This case does nothing to help shrink and or control the rampant sexism that's contaminated the industry. Yes, it does.
It shows that there's many layers to this shit.
Yeah, there's more than just women that are being assaulted. That's the point he's trying to make. It's not just
all over
women.
The place. Yeah,
it's men too. So you can't sit there and say,
people don't like to face ugly truths about things.
Exactly.
It's easier just to say, "Oh, you're being a big baby about this. You're exaggerating. Grow up, be a man." Sorry. You know what? People have been getting away with this shit for way too long, and now more and more people are standing up because of it. It's just like when one person puts their arm up, and then another person next to them puts their arm up. Next thing you know, everyone's put their arms up. That's been affected. What do you call it?
Takes one.
Domino effect. Okay? This is Hollywood's fault. All of this shit is because of Hollywood and Washington and the sports, all of this shit and everything else, and businesses and everything that has treated people, the weaker people, the quote unquote weaker people, like like they're lesser people.
Well, let's go back a little bit on this one. Hold on a second.
It's biting them in the ass. Starting to bite people in the ass.
This is a whole thing where with Hollywood, we'll leave the other ones out of it right now.
Yeah.
But you're right. With Hollywood, it's the casting couch thing.
Yeah.
It's it's always happened and it was always accepted.
Yeah, it's the normal thing. It's the norm. It's what you do.
And now it's not accepted.
Yeah.
It should have never been accepted.
No.
But people that are seeking money and power will do whatever it takes to get that money and power in some cases.
Yeah, and now people are pissed because they're losing money, because now they have to be nicer and they have to be respectful, because they don't want
that. No, but
they got to watch their asses a little more now, don't they? Because now more people are willing to stand up and say no.
But yeah, it has nothing to do with losing money. It has everything to do with losing their power, because people think that power, this encompassing power, to be the ability to do what you want whenever you want. Well, you always have that ability. You can do whatever you want. Free will, man. But the consequences to doing whatever you want, jail, exclusion, whatever, that's you have the positive pros and cons to doing whatever you want. And the pros are you can do whatever you want. If you do whatever you want within the legal limits, nothing's going to stop you.
Yeah.
If you do whatever you want outside the legal limits, and I'm talking about assault and being a sexual predator and all this other junk, right? Then you're going to have to live with the consequences.
Yeah.
And Hollywood is starting to get the consequences handed to them. They've been doing this for 100 years.
Yeah.
And now it's a big deal. Oh my God, it's a big deal. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Well, if you live with blinders on and all you do is watch a current affair or the local TV news or whatever garbage that's being thrown at our faces, and that's all you do, yeah, you're going to be naive. You're going to sit there and go, oh my God, I can't believe that this is happening. I can't believe that these things are coming out. These people are liars because you're just being force fed this garbage every single day. These distractions about what's happening, apart from the reality of the crap that's going on in today. And if you want to live your life like that, that's fine. There's plenty of people that do that.
Yeah.
But if you want to have a well-rounded view of what's going on, then you need to look at all of this, and then you got to kind of just weed your way through it and make your own decisions. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
With the Terry Crews thing, the problem with the Terry Crews thing is that he is one of very few males that have come forward in this, and he's doing it the right way. It's not, I'm going to go beat you up.
Yeah.
We're not in fucking high school anymore.
He's not Mike Tyson.
Yeah, but we're not in high school.
Yeah.
And Terry Crews has a reputation to keep. He just goes and knocks somebody down. Well, he's an asshole for knocking that guy down. That's why he didn't do it.
Yeah.
You don't assault somebody back for assaulting you because nobody knows. If somebody just turns around and you see Terry Crews, slap that bitch right up his face and knock him through a wall.
Yeah.
And the dude that just turned around is like a lawyer or something or whatever. I can tell you that the first thing that would happen is that Terry Crews, and I've said this already, would be on the other side of this whole situation, and Adam Bennett would be suing him.
Yeah.
Regardless of the sexual assault. Well, he grabbed me, so I punched him in his face and knocked him across the room.
Yeah, there's a bunch of witnesses saying that they saw you punch him.
Yeah. Well, I was assaulted first. Well, you punched him, but I was assaulted. No, he grabbed you, Now that he's thrown this into the light of this guy has a history of this behavior, I am not going to put up with it, and he should be called out on it. And he's doing it because there are other people that aren't doing it.
Yeah.
And this is going to open up an investigation into William Morris. And it's going to open up an investigation into all of these other places.
Good.
That's what that does.
And that's, that's something I wanted to lead into before we end this one, is that this is the real world. And in the real world, the bad guy doesn't always get his just desserts at the end. You know what I mean? Someone has to do something about it. Karma's not going to step in and...
Yeah, Bruce Willis isn't going to shoot him in the head.
Exactly. All right? Or like some local citizen's not just going to walk up and end it, right? Like at the end of New Jack City.
Yeah, hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah, it's... Most of the time, the bad guys walk away with this because of their power and because people are afraid to say anything. Well, now...
Or do anything.
Yeah, and now more and more people are standing up. And so now there's a chance that actually, hey, the bad guy might actually get his just desserts in the end, Because when people stand up, look what happens.
Well, like Larry Nassar.
Yeah, Larry Nassar, man. I remember watching that video of the father, man, just saying, put me in a room with them. Would you give me 5 minutes? Okay, would you give me a minute? I mean, the guy was calmer and shit. Even when he rushed him, he seemed calm. Like his mindset was like, this guy needs to get the shit beat out of him, And you could see how the cops that had to tackle him, they felt bad for him. They felt, shit. That's tough shit.
Okay, just as a side thing, I saw this on Facebook. I do have to share this.
That's right. What?
Dwayne Wade got traded for a pick in 2024, meaning he got traded for an 8th grader. LeBron's son is in 8th grade. Dwayne might have just been traded for LeBron's son. Dwayne Wade got traded back to Miami. Cleveland Cavaliers are clearing house.
Yeah.
They traded for Isaiah Thomas Jr., who was with the Boston Celtics. So they traded Kyrie Irving to the Celtics for Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas comes to Cleveland. Cleveland trades for or signs Dwayne Wade, right, from the Heat. So now Cleveland, the people that they've signed this year, or for the last year and a half or so, the people that they have are going away. Cleveland Cavaliers. There it is.
Did LeBron bring a ring to the Cleveland?
Yeah.
I don't. You know me. I don't watch basketball anymore.
I don't either. But so they traded Isaiah Thomas to the Los Angeles Lakers. Cleveland helped the Lakers get LeBron. One executive said. Another was more blunt. Well, what the fuck? The Cavaliers entered Thursday knowing that they needed to make at least one deal before the deadline passed. After a month of losing and infighting, blowout losses, and damaging stories about the state of the locker room and the relationship between LeBron and owner Dan Gilbert, it seemed that they were in need of a shakeup. And that's what happens. Over the course of an hour, the Cavs brought in Rodney Hood from the Utah Jazz and George Hill from the Sacramento Kings to go with acquisitions of Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. from the Lakers. In the deals, they dumped Isaiah Thomas, Channing Frye, Jay Crowder, Derrick Rose, Iman Shumpert, I guess that's how you say his name,
Shumpert, yeah.
and Dwayne Wade and their 2018 first-round pick. The Cavaliers could again be the favorites to emerge out of the Eastern Conference after remaking their roster. No, that's not going to happen, but that's okay. I just thought it was hilarious that we brought that was brought up that they traded for an 8th grader, but Cleveland is just shaking everything up and clearing house. And I guess that the rumor is that the Lakers are going to try and trade for LeBron at the end of the year, or either that or as a free agent, one or the other. Anyways, and I don't pay much attention to basketball.
I was waiting for some kind of tie into like Dwayne Wade. Was he accused of something, or?
I'm sure I can look something up.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. You got anything else to add, man?
No.
All right. Yeah. Props to Terry Crews, man, and tell the truth, man.
Yep. Tell the truth.
All right. So, for Compelled, I'm Joe Spiegel.
Mike Sutherland.
Bye.
Bye.
Be safe.
I guess stop.